Welcome to Downtown Sports. My name is Downtown Stephen Brown, and in today's video, there's been some really weird stories going around hockey Twitter about Mike Babcock, and I think we should talk about them. Alright, and all this started when noted Babcock hater Mike Commodore posted this photo on his Twitter, and a lot of people were kind of going at him, being like, hey man, that's kind of creepy, and that's a picture of Mike Babcock packing up his condo behind his building, and I don't believe he took this picture. I don't think he's walking around following Mike Babcock around trying to embarrass him like this. I believe he was sent this photo. He posted it out there because that's just what he does, and I don't necessarily agree with his approach. I don't necessarily agree with how he goes about speaking against Mike Babcock and whatnot, because I think he's overly abrasive. But then these comments came out from former Toronto Maple Leaf Mark Fraser. So he's got an entire thread here. I'm just going to read it all in its entirety because there's a lot to unpack here. So he goes on to say, anyone who thinks Commodore needs to lay off Babs just doesn't understand how much hate players have for him. It's beyond him scratching Commodore or saying he was out of shape. NHL players are a very small population of athletes and people. We share stories throughout the years and with each other. For those outside the locker rooms, you will never truly understand some of the terrible, undeserving things Babs has done to some of his players. You don't have to like all your coaches, but he is one who 95% of his players can't say a good thing about. With the ability to end players' careers, he's chosen to do so to long-serving vets that have resulted in all his players turning against him. He's used some of his powers to turn teammates against each other and choose to continuously lie to his players. Mike Commodore may have strong public opinions of Babs, but in our fraternity of NHL players and former NHL players, he's speaking for the massives. He's speaking for the countless players who have personally told me their terrible stories of Babs just being a bad guy. He's speaking for all the Maple Leafs who wouldn't dare speak the truth right now, but damn sure want to. Mike Commodore has so many players' respect, if only the outsiders in the hockey world knew the truth. Okay, so there's a lot to talk about there, obviously, and for those of you who maybe didn't understand what I was saying about Mike Commodore earlier, how I don't really like the way that he goes about critiquing Mike Babcock, Mark Fraser, that was very, very well said. There's not really any gray areas and whatnot. He wasn't specific into any stories or whatnot, but he did mention something about Babcock turning teammates against each other, which is very worrisome. Alright, and then this tweet from James, or Account for Hockey on Twitter, kind of goes with the notion of Mike Babcock pitting teammates against each other. So this is an excerpt from a Toronto Sun article by Terry Koshin, and I will link the article in the description if you want to give it a read in its entirety. So it goes on to say, one tale was related to us in the past few days that is said to have occurred in the 16-17 season during the annual Father's Trip. Babcock was alleged to have asked one of the Leafs' rookies to list the players on the team from hardest working to those, in the eyes of the rookie, didn't have a strong work ethic. The rookie did so, not wanting to upset his coach, but was taken aback when Babcock told the players who had been listed at the bottom. And then Ian Tulloch, who does the Leafs Geek podcast, he writes for theleafstation.com and for The Athletic, chimed in and said, I heard about this Babcock story when it happened, but I didn't want to bring it up until I could confirm it was true. The rookie he did this to was Mitch Marner. Now, before everyone gets their pitchforks and fire up in arms and stuff like that and wants to go find Mike Babcock, let's give him the benefit of the doubt here. The article wasn't specific to say that this was the only instance where Babcock did something like this, so maybe he did it with everyone on the team. Maybe it was a team bonding sort of thing where, you know how sometimes in a relationship or if you have a friend, it's healthy to kind of say the things that you don't like about them, you know, because maybe you're afraid but if you say them out in the open and if they say stuff back, it can be viewed as constructive in a way, right? You don't have to say things with hate. You can just say, hey, you know, you've been doing this lately, it's not so nice, maybe you should make some effort to change that. So now that I've given him the benefit of the doubt, I could say that's kind of messed up. And I really hope that wasn't just one isolated instance. I really hope that he did that with the whole team, because like I said, it's healthy to say the things that you don't like about people that you're really close with, because it can be constructive. But if that was just the only instance, I don't know why you would do that to Mitch Marner. I don't know why you would do that to anyone on the team. You want the locker room to be nice and light. You know, you want the guys to be friends with each other. You want everyone to get along with each other so that, you know, when a guy takes a big hit or whatever, the other guy steps in and does something about it. You know, everyone has each other's back. And The thing that sticks out to me, that was done on the father's trip. The father's trip's supposed to be something that's happy. I don't know why the timing is just really weird. And I mean, it's really easy to say all this stuff about Mike Babcock right now after the guy just got fired, right? It's easy to jump on the bandwagon and just start hating for the sake of hating, right? It's the cool thing to do. You want to join in, everyone wants to fit in. And I mean, it's fair for Mike Babcock to walk up to one of his players and ask that player the opinions of the other guys in the locker room and whatnot, because the players are on the ground level, right? They know the inner workings of things. They know how everyone's feeling and whatnot. They're in their own inner circle outside of the coaching staff and whatnot. It's fair for him to do that, but just to put that out in the open, I don't know, that's a really weird motivation tactic that I can see how it would grow really thin after a while. And like I said earlier in the video, there's a difference between constructive criticism, which I welcome on this channel. If there's something that you want to see me do, or I'm doing something wrong or whatnot, please point it out in the comments section. That's what it's for. But that doesn't sound healthy. That doesn't sound positive. It doesn't sound constructive. I don't see where the learning can take place. And I guess I don't really have any more thoughts and opinions on this, because it's just weird. It's supposed to be a professional work environment. And if there's anything more that comes out on this story, I'll definitely make like a part 2 with your guys' thoughts and opinions and whatnot, because I do read the comments and I do respond to quite a fair bit of them. But it's just weird. It's interesting to see where Babcock could have lost the locker room and where that kind of like that disconnect could have come from. But make sure to give the video a like and subscribe for more, because more is always on the way. And guys, let's just be thankful for Sheldon Keefe.